The New York Knicks have received permission to speak to Pablo Prigioni about joining Mike Brown's staff. This would for sure be a promotion to Prigioni's coaching career. And I remember him clear as day back in what was the year for? 2012 to 2015, I want to say, around that type of time frame. He was such an elite floor general who could knock down the open three. You look at 2013 when the Knicks defeated the Celtics in the first round. Prigioni stepped into the starting lineup, and the Knicks finished the regular season with 17 wins in its final 19 games, and he did start as well for the Knicks in the playoffs, helping them win that series, and they did fall short to Indiana, as we all know, because we always fall short to Indiana, it feels like nowadays, for like the past couple of decades. But Pablo's resume, he's got 4 seasons playing in the NBA. He also was a head coach for Basquiona June through October 2017, Brooklyn Nets assistant 2018 through 2019, Minnesota Timberwolves assistant 2019 through the present, of course, Argentina's men's national team head coach 2022 to present. So he's got a lot of playing experience. He's got a good amount of coaching experience, and also he was a beloved fan favorite for the Knicks. I mean, unless you're super young watching this video, you're not going to remember him, but 90% of the people listening right now do know who Pablo Prigioni is. And like I said, they'll remember him clear as day. I was in 8th grade, actually 7th grade, when Pablo Prigioni made his Knicks debut. And we used to all try to be him playing basketball. He was just such a cool dude, man. And he's exactly what you look for in a point guard. We don't see many Pablo Prigionis nowadays because everybody is, Steph Curry or Jalen Brunson or Dame Lillard. Those are the type of point guards we see nowadays. But Pablo was just all about distributing the basketball and being efficient. Wasn't the most athletic dude. And as you guys saw on the screen right there, that alley-oop to J.R. Smith is one of the most iconic moments of my Knicks life. That might seem kind of depressing, and it kind of is, but I just remember watching that game. And I didn't miss a single Knicks game in all of high school. I remember during homecoming, decided to watch the Knicks were on, man. It was a Friday night Knicks, man. So, yeah, would love Pablo back. I think he'd be a great addition to the coaching staff. And I also love as well that the Knicks kept a lot of Tom Thibodeau's coaching staff. Maurice Cheeks, Mark Bryant, Rick Brunson. I hope Jalen's not watching, but yeah, Rick Brunson, Darren Erman. There's so many good assistants on this staff, and Brown keeping them, man, that's really respectable. But why not add one more in Pablo Prigioni to round off this staff, and then to go out there and to potentially use the last, or at least the last veteran roster spot, and whether it be Ben Simmons or Landry Shamet, and then that second round exception on Mohamed Diawara, who did flash a lot of promise at the Summer League. Like, he looks like he could be a very, very interesting type of player. I think he's years away personally from being that. But he'd be on the Knicks roster because of his second-round cheap contract, very similar to why the Knicks traded down and took Tyler Kolek in the second round. Why would they use a first-round pick on him and have to pay him even more money? Because Mikal Bridges has to be extended. Mitchell Robinson's on the final year of his contract. Cat is eligible for an extension as well. So if the Knicks do have to pay these guys, they're going to be in the second apron. They aren't right now, but in the future they will be. So that's why I'm hoping Mikal and Mitch take a pay cut. Do I think they will? Probably not. I mean, who knows to this point? OG Anunoby didn't take a pay cut. They don't have to take one, but it certainly would help the Knicks. And Jalen Brunson, eventually, he's going to need a new contract as well. So, thinking about the future of this team, yeah, I mean, the Knicks got to win. It feels like the Knicks really kind of have to win right now. Like, it feels like this season they've got to get the championship. Last season they fell short, which we all know why. Coach Thibodeau ends up getting fired. I think at first a lot of people were like, oh, they're scapegoating Tibbs. He wasn't the issue. He really was. The Knicks got to the Eastern Conference Finals despite of Tibbs, and now they bring in Mike Brown and potentially Pablo Prigioni and the staff, and they fill out the roster with 3-and-D wing and Landry Shamet, or I don't even know what to call Ben Simmons. Like, I'm excited, man. I was excited going into last season. I didn't think the Knicks would get that far, though, to be honest, because they had everything going for them, and then they trade for Mikal, they trade for Cat. I mean, of course, I figured the ceiling was higher, but I was like, is this team... I don't know. I kind of had a little bit of doubts about it, but this time around, we know that the Knicks got that far. The East is even more wide open because the Celtics don't have Tatum, the Pacers don't have Halliburton, the Cavs choke every single season, and they have a great regular season, and then they do nothing in the playoffs. And Jalen Brunson, you look at in Dallas, he knocked out Donovan Mitchell. Comes to the Knicks, knocks out Donovan Mitchell. And people still think Mitchell's better than Brunson. Not worried about them. Like the Bucks just aren't that great. Like they got Miles Turner, ooh, that like LeBron meme where he's like, ooh, like okay. And the Pistons? I mean, yeah, the Pistons are gonna be tough. They took us to 6 games. Okay, like all right, who'd they even get this offseason? Duncan Robinson. I get they were missing a couple of players, but like it's the Pistons, bro. Like again, the Knicks did everything wrong in the playoffs and still got to a Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. So now with the right coaching staff around them, a better roster, a deeper roster, Jordan Clarkson, Gershon Yabusele, and bringing back Shama or adding Ben Simmons, I mean, that's a very interesting roster. That's a championship-level roster. The Knicks will be favored, I can promise you that, to win the Eastern Conference. There's no question about it. It's going to be them, and it's probably going to be the Cavs, and then Pistons or something. I don't really know who's going to be behind them. But if the Knicks stay healthy, it almost feels like they're going to the finals without question. And it's going to be a long season, 82 games, and then you do got to play, they're up to 7 in the first, second, third, and then finals. Like, it's a deep season. But I think the Knicks are going to be way more fresh come playoff time because, again, they had played like 13 more games than other teams they were facing because they just Tibbs played the starters to the ground, man. I know I'm picking on Tibbs, man. I do got a lot of respect for Tibbs, but that's not how you win. Like, you look at the Thunder, they had a lot of depth, and the Pacers had a lot of depth, and they utilized them every single game. And then come playoffs, I mean, we saw just the fact of how ready they were, and they just outplayed us, man. They were faster, more physical, and things like that. And then game 1, obviously, but just ready to get into next season. I'm super amped up. I mean, there's nothing else really to say. I will say that the regular season, it doesn't really feel like that much. I mean, like, just given the fact of the Knicks are making the playoffs every year and they're expected to win a championship. But the regular season is going to be about just gaining more chemistry, continuity, camaraderie. Of course, Mike Brown is a new coach, so getting the rotations down and also understanding how different lineups work. If a guy gets into foul trouble or something's working, something isn't. See, the Knicks didn't have that because in the regular season they weren't using their bench. They were last in scoring. So come playoff time, they started to use DeLon Wright. They started to use Cat and Mitch together and Shamet and all. Like, they had these different lineup configurations, but they didn't really work as well as they could have because they didn't play together. So, and the Knicks didn't even practice. The Knicks weren't even practicing like much in the regular season. So that certainly has to change. I think Mike Brown, and he's notorious for working his guys hard in practice. So that's just something that matters to me, man. But back to Pablo, kind of end the video on this, man. I should have probably talked more about him, but he did debut with the Knicks at 35, the oldest rookie in league history. Yeah, okay, I was right. 2012 through 2015, Argentinian, began as the backup point guard and was inserted due to an injury in the starting lineup. Yeah, I mean, I pretty much got everything just about right. Yeah, Pablo Prigioni, my guy, bro. I got to go check my jerseys to see if I have his. I know I got JR, Melo, I think Tyson. I got to go look. I don't think I have a Pablo jersey.